I'm gonna be honest. I was not expecting for Yuta to have copied Udo's technique like that, but seeing as we saw Ishigori's deduction of when did he fulfill this condition to copy the technique, it seems like it was around the time when Rika got a hold of Udo's hand. And then from there, that might have been the condition to copy the technique. But, dude, what a crazy chapter. So we got Jujutsu Kaisen, chapter 180, man. Wow. This was a great finale. I really, like, I'm looking back on all of these chapters, and every time we go to a character in the colony, it's just back-to-back banger fights. And I'm sure after this, we're going to get a little conversation between Udo and then also to Yuta as well. We might get a little bit information on, like, the past, the Heian era, or, I don't know, she might join. I doubt that, but who knows, right? Because it just seems like, I don't know, every time we go into, like, say, something with Yuji, he befriends someone in the colony. Megumi, he kind of not necessarily befriends, but spares that person, Remy, right? And I think we might get a similar thing here with Yuta. And then after this, we'll go on to Hikari and Panda, right? So, yeah, man, let's get into it. So, chapter starts out, I kind of like this. I like these first couple pages because, let me read this here. It says, but even then, its maximum power is still slightly inferior to Ishigori's, quickly accumulating cursed energy and attacking before Ishigori reaches his maximum power. So they're about to basically clash with these cursed energy blasts, right? And then we see, should have been the only option, but Ishigori's 400 years of desire and the and the smoldering gaze resulting from that. Yuta smiles and says, just this once. So Yuta was initially gonna just quickly charge up as quick as he can and fire before Ishigori, but Yuta saw the really just calm smile from Ishigori, and you see Yuta just give this kind of grim, like, you twisted son of a bitch, right? And he's like, just this once. And then this was funny right here, this little quote right here: unlock something that perhaps could just this once. Sorry guys, I'm all over the place. Smoldering gaze resulting from that unlocked something that perhaps could never have found the will to fight again. Ukotsu Yuta's heart. So I thought this was a little funny tidbit at the beginning. And then we finally see them clash, and it's just cursed energy blasts go everywhere. It kind of looks like a blast of meteorites. And then after that, we kind of see the smoke. The blast more kind of goes towards Yuta, if anything. So Ishigori's was kind of stronger, his blast. But we see the rubble, we see the smoke. He can't see anything. And then we see Rika do her own version of the blast. And as that happens, Yuta sprints at Ishigori, right? And Ishigori notices this, right? So he's able to, one, block Rika's attack, whose attack also isn't as powerful as when Yuta was doing it, probably because they were combining their energy, right? So he blocks that. He looks over to Yuta, who's coming over ever so quickly, right? And he's about to shoot, right? And that's when Ishigori says it's over. And then he says, you can't recover properly anymore, right? Granite blast, Okotsu. And then we see Okotsu's fist kind of go slightly above his nose, above his face, and then you see his fist reach up. And at first I was like, okay, well, what's this? And then the next panel comes, and before I even read it, just based off of the art here, I could tell that Yuta already had Udo's technique, right? So he's already fully recovered from the domain expansion. That's one. And two, he's got Udo's technique, right? Now let's remember, Ishigori, he doesn't need to recover from that domain expansion because he's just sending out energy blasts, right? He never really need to do anything like that. Yuta, though, he's already recovered. So it just goes to show how powerful Yuta is, right? And Ishiguro notices that just now, oh, that was Udo's technique. And so he's kind of scrambling, like, oh, you know, at first I thought he was a simple cursed speech user. I thought he had different techniques, but he was wrong. He has mimicry, right? And then he kind of, in his head, he's like, you know, how did he fulfill this condition of getting Udo's technique? And he remembers back to Rika chomping down on Udo's hand. So that may have been most likely the condition, because with Durov, right, pretty sure when he died, that may have been the condition, as far as we know. So it's crazy. He basically got Udo's technique and then proceeds to do the same. This is like, guys, this is so crazy. Like, a special grade user using another special grade user's technique. It's so insane. Literally, Thin Ice Missile does the same thing that was done to him to Ishiguro, and he feels the hit, and then he gets punched in the head by Rika, and then we see that the 5 minutes are basically up. And then we see Ishiguro return a punch right to Rika's face. And the Gege leaves a little tidbit here saying, a hit that was difficult to deal with even when fully manifested. Rika has reached her limit. So he was able to send Rika flying. So this guy, again, super powerful. And then we see Yuta. So Rika just disappears, right, into like either a bloody pile or like no, it's definitely a bloody pile. And yeah, she just disappears like that. And then it's just those two going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? And then we see Ishiguro saying, you know, I had no idea you still had leftovers even after using all your strength. And then we get the this is dessert, you know, always going back to, you know, his desire to be full. So now we get Yuta gripping on his jacket, and at first I was like, okay, what's going on here? Because he's gripping like tight, and then he says, here's the spot, huh? And then you see above Ishiguro a blast, and it falls directly on him, and he's standing there like a statue afterwards, like something out of kind of like Zoro when he took Kuma's blast, and he's standing there. So what happened was Yuta diverted the trajectory of his own attack, of Ishiguro's attack, sent it up and made sure that it would come back down in a certain spot, right? And I believe it might have been the same spot, or they might have moved a little bit, but he was able to basically change the trajectory with Udo's technique. And we see him just, you know, charred up, and he said, thank you, I'm full now, basically defeating Ishiguro here. And we see Yuta smiling, and we see a plate at the end with the no more dessert on the plate. It's completely empty, right? So this is a great chapter. Yuta's insane, man. I see why Gege had to put nerfs on Yuta, because the only person that really should be absolute pinnacle is Gojo. And if we had someone like Yuta, it's just it would be too much. Like pre-nerf Yuta, it'd just be way too much. So I get why the nerf had to have happened. But yeah, man, this was a really great chapter. Again, like I said earlier, I think we're gonna get a convo with Udo Takako, and I also think afterwards we're gonna get Hikari. But I will say, man, this is like, to go from Shibuya to the Zenin mini arc to this, like, it's just back to back. Like, it just, I really have nothing to say bad about JJK. It's really fulfilling everything shonen wise, and it really can't get any better. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments, man.